Good morning, everyone. We will get started in about 2 minutes here. If you are just joining us, we will get started in 1 minute. All right, Sherry, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I had to unmute myself, which always takes an extra second. But good morning, everybody. And I want to welcome you to today's webinar on behalf of the city and let you know how thrilled the city is to be able to provide this opportunity with CARES Act funding. Strong economy and support for our local businesses is always a priority with our city council. And over 60% of Riverside's businesses fit into that category. And many of those are micro businesses and entrepreneurs. I mean, small businesses are the backbone of the city. So we're pleased to be able to make a difference. And I also want to take just a quick moment to thank, first of all, the SBDC for hosting the webinar. And just to say that we really appreciate the value that your organization brings to our business community. And I also want to thank the United Way for administering this grant. It's a lot of work, but it's rewarding work. And the Riverside business community is fortunate to have a variety of good support organizations and resources. So with that, I'm going to hand it back over to the experts. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday out there today with this nice breezy weather. My name is Karla Gonzalez. I am with the Inland Empire Small Business Development Center, and we also have on standby Jennifer Thornton with the actual United Way Inland Empire. So she will be on standby to answer any questions. Jennifer, did you want to say a couple words?
Sure. Thank you so much, Karla. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. Thank you for the invitation, and I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody. But as Sherry said, we've been working really hard behind the scenes, the City of Riverside, United Way of the Inland Valleys, and SPDC to bring this wonderful grant to you guys, which just launched last Friday. And, we've had a lot of applications come through. We really took a lot of time to think about what would be the most effective use of the funding and how we can really support the small businesses in the City of Riverside and, really provide a little bit of support, encouragement, and hope during these difficult times. And we hope that we're accomplishing just that, but very excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. So as I was mentioning, I am with the Inland Empire Small Business Development Center. We are a federally funded program through the U.S. Small Business Administration, aka the SBA, and we're also funded in part by our local cities and our counties. So we have several different partnerships within our territory that covers San Bernardino and Riverside. One of those being the City of Riverside. So we're extremely thankful for that partnership. So thank you, Sherry, and your team. It's been a pleasure working with you guys over the years, and we continue, hope we continue to keep working together for future years to come. Our SPDC is actually hosted by Cal State San Bernardino. through their Inland Empire Center for Entrepreneurship. So SPDCs, there's over 1,000 locations throughout the entire US. It is a nationwide program. So depending on where you are located, there's probably an SPDC near you. So always look out to see if you have an SPDC that you can turn to for assistance if you are not in our area. Like I mentioned before, we do cover Inland Empire, so that's Riverside and San Bernardino County. What we do out of the office, we provide business consulting, training, and resources. So depending on what your business needs to help it start, help it maintain itself, help it grow, help it during these COVID-19 times, we are here to help you at absolutely no cost. There's no catch, I promise you. We are completely free, and we're here to service our small business community throughout San Bernardino and Riverside County. The way we do that is with a different field of consultants and expertise. So we have consultants with expertise in social media, QuickBooks, marketing, finance, government contracting certifications, human resources, restaurant management, general startup, you name it. We probably have an expert consultant on staff. Once again, I will reiterate, we are free. So as you can see, that is the current staff on hand. The only person you don't see on there is our interim director, Mr. Paul Nolta, but the people on the screen right there are the consultants that service you in the Inland Empire. We also are able to tap into Orange County and their expertise, which they have, I think, about 60 to 70 consultants. So if there's something that we cannot assist you with, we can go ahead and connect you with them as well, also at no cost to you. So I would encourage you to call the office, make an appointment with one of us, and just talk to us about what is going on with your business to see how we can help you. We also offer webinars just like this one that you're on today. So if you're looking for any webinars, please feel free to go to our website. That is the link right there in the middle. We cover various different topics. If any of you have gotten denials for EIDL, we can help you with the reconsideration. We're doing PPP loan forgiveness workshops, you name it. And we have still our core classes, which is startups, perfecting your pitch, basic sales and use tax, you name it. We have a whole bunch of different workshops that are occurring throughout the month quite frequently. So I would say anywhere from 3 to 4 days a week, there's something on our calendar that is out there for you. Once again, these are free, so please feel free to sign up for these and get the information you seek or make an appointment with one of us. So now that I gave you our entire pitch on what the SPDC does, let's get to the actual program on what you guys are all hopping on this call for. So as Sherry mentioned, there is the Riverside Small Business Cares Grant. We're going to be giving you guys a quick program overview, the eligibility, eligible expenses, and then we are going to actually take you through the application that is available online. Before I commence with this, if you do have any questions, please go ahead and put them in that chat box. I know Mary is monitoring that chat box, so please feel free to ask questions and we'll get to them at the end of this presentation. So as Sherry mentioned, the City of Riverside does have its CARES Act business grant. So due to significant economic stress caused by COVID-19 pandemic, the City Council identified over $3.6 million in CARES Act funding for the City California Coronavirus Relief Fund allocation for the creation of the Small Business Assistance Program. So the program will provide a one-time grant up to $10,000 with the flexibility to reevaluate the funding cap based on demonstrated need during the funding period. Will go to help struggling small businesses reimburse the cost of interruptions caused by required closures. So once again, the funding is up to $10,000. You must be located within the city limits of Riverside. You must employ at least one employee, but no more than 50. The owner counts as an employee. City of Riverside business license in good standing prior to March 1, 2020. You must be a for-profit business within the city limits, and home-based businesses are okay. You must adhere to federal guidance and state stay-at-home requirements and any other health requirements. No more than 10 million in annual revenue, and you must have experienced some kind of mandatory shutdown or substantial change in business operations. Quick example would be our salons. They experience a mandatory shutdown. So that would count for that. Same example would be my restaurants for a substantial change with having to go outside. Those are experiences that you have encountered because of COVID-19. So eligibility for the Riverside Small Business Assistance Program is evaluated based on a business's demonstrated need for financial support resulting from losses due to the impact of COVID-19 and associated with mandatory state, county, or local closures, as well as the general qualifications included that I just mentioned there. So the eligible expenses. So the Riverside Small Business Assistance Program is intended to cover fixed expenses specifically associated with losses and hardships endured during the COVID-19 pandemic. The program is administered in alignment with the U.S. Department of Treasury issued guidance. Each applicant will be required to sign and verify that the funds will be spent on eligible expenses as identified here. So the eligible expenses include, but are not limited to, inventory, working capital like your rent, mortgage, payroll, PPE and other equipment to meet COVID-19 state opening guidelines, equipment or furnishings needed to take advantage of the city's outdoor flex space permit program, restaurants and food service businesses with additional supporting documentation can recoup inventory losses for 2 weeks prior to the unexpected state mandated COVID-19 closures, both occurrences of that, and other business operational expenses and revenues that have been impacted by COVID-19 orders. So the eligible expenses are all right there. And like I said, it's going to be case by case, also depending on what else you're able to prove as you were impacted by COVID-19 closures. So the application itself, I will tell you, is actually pretty easy and easy to understand and go through. The application will include a narrative that describes your economic financial hardship. Those hardships can be losses due to forced shutdown by the state or local government, significant revenue losses over the course of the state of emergency, necessity of laying off at least one employee since March 1st of 2020, and hardships due to one or more employees contracting COVID-19 while at work. In that application as well, you will have a self-certification that you would complete and submit with the application. On the application, they will request additional supporting documentation. It may not be all of this, but this is some of the core documents. So we're looking at bank statements through July 2020, showing pre and post-COVID revenue. So we need to be able to demonstrate your losses from the beginning of the year to currently now. Profit and loss statements showing COVID-19 related decreases. Once again, if we have, say, January to March, and then we compare it to April to June or July, that would be a good demonstration of the hardships or the related decreases that you have encountered. Merchant statements, inventory loss receipts and or statements reflecting food loss from restaurants within the allowed time frame. And then once you submit your application, there will be a signed W-9 that will be required and an ACH form. So keep in mind that all these documents may not be required, but you want to make sure you have them handy. I would like to emphasize that you want to be as descriptive as possible when you are describing your hardship. You really want to be able to convey that you have experienced a hardship, how you experience it, and what impact you had because of COVID-19. The application deadline to apply is October 1st, 2020, and it is subject to the availability of the funds. So the application, if you are looking for it, can be located here. And this PowerPoint, I believe, will be made available to everybody. You would just simply click on this link here, and it will direct you to the city website. On that city website, you can see it gives you, once again, that overview of the small business grant. Once again, emphasizing it's up to $10,000. And on here, you will see the program overview, the fillable printable PDF, and you will also see the apply online. On the online application, I'm not going to take you through the online one, but on the online application, you do have to complete that in one city. So make sure once you start it, you complete it. It will prompt you to upload your bank statements. So please upload bank statements from December 2019 to July 2020. And you have to complete all the fields in order for it to be submitted online. If you choose to do it on the fillable PDF, This is what it looks like here. So it'll come up here momentarily. So on the fillable PDF, once again, it is going to go ahead and give you a quick overview of the eligibility. As you can see, as I mentioned before, you have to be located in the city of Riverside with a valid business license prior to March 1st, 2020. If it expired because of COVID-19 and you weren't able to renew it, the city will consider you if you are willing to renew that license. Once again, must adhere to the federal guidance and state at-home orders. You must have between 1 and 50 employees prior to March 1st, 2020, and no more than 10 million in revenue. Be a for-profit business and must have experienced mandatory shutdown or substantial change in business operations. Voluntary shutdowns are ineligible. So as you scroll down, the application here itself is pretty straightforward. You would go ahead and put the business name there, all the business owners' names, information in this field here, your business address, your preferred mailing address, website, contact, and email. You want to make sure you complete this section completely. I personally recommend if you're able to type it in, do it that way instead of hand writing it in. So that way there is no issues in trying to understand. You can't read somebody's writing. On the following pages, it will ask you to put down your EIN if you have one. If you do not have one, do not leave it blank. Go ahead and put the word none on there. And then it will ask you for the City of Riverside business license. So you're going to go ahead and make sure you put that information in there. If you have a hard time locating it or don't know where to locate it, as I mentioned before, the SPDC is here to help you. So we can help you complete these applications, whether it's online or this PDF one. So we are able to assist you. So please feel free to reach out to us. That is what we are here for. So we want to make sure this is completed. We also want to make sure you describe your business. So whether you're in hospitality, manufacturing, restaurant, technology, etc., you check off the appropriate box. You go ahead and give the city a quick description of your product or your service that you provide. Please be detailed and complete that section. And then you want to go ahead and add the number of employees you had as of March 1st, 2020. Make sure you please include yourself if you are the owner, okay? As we continue down the application, basic information that they ask you just for their purposes is whether you're minority owned, woman owned, or veteran owned. Your gender identity, go ahead and check the correct ones for yourself, and which following best describes you based on these options here for the ethnicities and race. If your race is not listed on there, please feel free to go ahead and complete that section as well, lower below. And as you scroll down, now this is where we get to how you were impacted. So has your business experienced any of the following? So you would check off the box if you were experiencing a forced shutdown by the state or local government. And then you want to go ahead and be as descriptive as possible, explaining your losses, including dates of those mandatory closures. If you don't have enough space, you can go ahead and add an additional document with that explanation. Once again, at the SPDC, we are more than happy to assist you through providing that information and articulating your explanation for these purposes. As you scroll down, once again, it's asking you some additional questions. Please make sure you answer them. Do not leave them unmarked. And then once again here, if you answered yes to any of the above, go ahead and write the dollar amount within this section here. As we scroll down, we have another section for a narrative. Here, we're going to go ahead and briefly describe and explain any hardship or recurring costs, such as rent, that you would like to bring to the attention for consideration. So once again, if you have been unable to pay rent because of COVID-19 for these past couple of months, you want to go ahead and put that in here, the dollar amount and what months you have been unable to pay. If there's nothing that you don't want to explain on here, go ahead and put NA. Once again, do not just leave it blank. You want to make sure this section is filled out. If, once again, you require additional space, go ahead and add another document explaining that hardship on those recurring costs that you would like to address. As we scroll down here, as I mentioned before, this is going to be the supporting documentation that may be included, but it's not limited to those bank or merchant statements from December 2019 to July 2020, showing pre and post COVID-19 revenue, or profit and loss statements comparing 2019 and 2020, showing COVID-19 related decrease in revenue. Once again, if you are having a hard time populating your profit and loss statements, the SPDC can assist you with that process. Inventory loss receipts and or statements reflecting food loss from food service businesses placed within 2 weeks of state mandated closures. Evidence of canceled appointments and or contracts. So because of COVID-19, if you had to cancel events or you had orders that you had to cancel or were canceled on you, you're going to want to provide that as proof as well to make your application stronger. And then that business impact statement and the self-certification that is included in this application. Once again, as a reminder, eligible expenses included, but may not be limited to inventory, working capital, PPE, and other requirements to meet COVID-19, state opening guidelines, equipment or furnishings needed to take advantage of the city's outdoor flex space program, inventory loss receipts and or statements reflecting food loss, service businesses for orders placed within 2 weeks of state mandated closures, other business operational expenses and revenues that have been impacted by COVID-19 orders. If you are unsure whether or not you would qualify based on operational expenses that you believe were impacted by COVID-19, please call us and we'll help you determine and write up those narratives as needed. Once again, that self-certification is included right here. Business owner name, signature, and date. At the end of this application, as you can see, Jennifer's name and Rebecca's name is listed right there. This application would go directly to them, either by mail or by email. I believe email is a preferred method, but you're more than welcome to also do it by mail. If you're going to email it, it will go straight to Riverside Cares at uwiv.org. So you want to make sure it goes there. Once again, if you need our assistance with completing any of this, we have 10, 12 consultants on standby to assist you with any of these applications and the supporting documentation needed for the narrative as well. So I encourage you all to apply for this Riverside grant if you're able to. Like I said before, it is up to $10,000. So it's a great opportunity to get much needed funding to our small business community out there that has suffered because of COVID-19. In addition to that, if I can go back to my screen here, there are also additional resources for you. So on top of that Riverside grant for up to $10,000, Riverside still has its micro grant that goes up to $7,500. There is still a nonprofit assistance grant as well as the Riverside residential rental assistance. On top of that, you still have the federal, which is the SBA economic injury disaster loan that you are able to apply for. So please keep in mind that there are other resources available as well, and you are able to apply for multiple different grants and assistance as your business needs them. With that said, we are the Inland Empire SPDC. Like I mentioned, we are here to help you at no cost. And I will say it again, at no cost. We are meeting with our clients virtually through phone or through Zoom. So as you're working through these applications and you're just, you know what, I'm stuck or I'm not sure, call us. We will set up a video chat with you so we can see your screen and we can do it together. If you don't have capabilities of doing Zoom, we are more than happy to also assist you via phone and we can help you that way as well. But like I mentioned, we are here to help. We don't want this to be an obstacle where you can't finish it or complete it. We are here to make sure that you are able to take care of that. And with that, that concludes the presentation on the grant application process for the City of Riverside CARES Act. Unless anybody has any questions or comment, Jennifer or Sherry, did you have anything you wanted to add?
This is Sherry. Really quickly, I wanted to point out that, again, I really appreciate all the work that's being done by the IESPDC. I wanted to point out that time is short on this, and the reason is that the state of California has given cities like Riverside only a 3-month window to spend this money to make sure that it gets out to the right people. And if we don't, and we're being audited by the state every month. So if we do not meet goals to work with the business community, if we're not getting the businesses through this process, then we lose some of that money, and that's not what we want to happen here. So if you have any doubts that you qualify, please call the SBDC, call United Way, get it straightened out, because there's an opportunity for you there that we do not want you to miss.
Thank you, Sherry. And as I mentioned before, I mean, the application is found in 2 different formats. So you can do a fillable PDF, you can do it online, whichever way you are most comfortable with it. And I can't say this enough, please reach out to us if you need assistance. We are here to help you and guide you to make sure that your package does get submitted correctly and is up for consideration, because that is up to $10,000 that can assist a business get through these unprecedented times for COVID-19.
And if ever you have a question about, maybe you don't have your bank statements, or there's a little bit of question about that, please reach out to either United Way of the Inland Valleys or i.e. SBDC, so that we can try to work through it with you, so that you could still qualify, but maybe you might have to do it a slightly different way. So definitely we're here to try to make it work.
Thank you, Jennifer. And do you have any questions?
Yes, we do. So before we get into the Q&A, I also just wanted to add, which we mentioned at the beginning, you will also all be receiving a recording of this webinar. So I know it was a lot of information, so don't worry. We will send you a full recording that you can reference along with the PowerPoint presentation. So we do have a couple of questions in here, but just another reminder to, if you do have questions, please go ahead and put those in the question field now, and we will get to those. So first question here from Michael, what are merchant statements?
Jennifer, did you want to answer that since you're going to be reviewing the documentation?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? I think I'm unmuted. So merchant statements are, for instance, you get the statement every month, and so you can download all the transactions that you've had for your particular business. So that's an easy way for us to see kind of the revenue and how it's been affected during this time. So even if you use like Square or Apple Pay or something like that, you can easily download through your system.
Perfect. Thank you, Jennifer. Question from Ellen. So do we submit the documents at the time of the application or wait for request of the documents?
It's best to submit it at the time that you submit your application. If you're doing it online, way down at the bottom, there's a bunch of attachment spaces. And so you can attach it there, and that will help us actually have a complete packet to go ahead and review and hopefully approve. If you wait, it'll take a little bit longer because we'll have to do some follow-up. So the main things that we'll need are the merchant statements or the bank statements from December 2019 to July 2020.
Thank you. Question from Natalie. I'm sorry, I may have missed this. Are home-based businesses eligible?
Yes, home-based businesses are eligible as long as you're within the City of Riverside.
Perfect. Question from Johnny. What if our business was not part of the forced shutdown but was impacted by losses because those impacted businesses were our clients?
Yes, you're definitely still eligible. There is a portion where it says mandatory shutdown or demonstrable losses. So that's where you would fit in. And so as long as you could show that your revenue has been heavily impacted, then we definitely will take your application into consideration.
Fabulous. Question from Angelica. If we are not a nonprofit organization, can we apply for the Small Business Care Act?
Yes, this is specifically for for-profit businesses. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry, she says if we are a nonprofit. If we are.
No, actually, you would not be eligible for this particular grant, but there is a grant, and I'll have to get the link for you for nonprofits.
Right there on the screen. So okay. When they get this PowerPoint, you'll be able to click on that screen and it'll take you to nonprofit.
Yes, ma'am. Perfect. Question from Suzanne. We're located in Riverside but follow under county services. Our zip code is 92503. Do we qualify?
If you are in an unincorporated part of Riverside, you'll have to apply for the county grant. If you are in the City of Riverside and you have a City of Riverside business license, then you would be eligible.
Perfect. So last question I think I can address, question from Ellen about the micro enterprise grant. Yes, Ellen, if you need some help understanding and defining eligibility for the micro enterprise, feel free to call our office and we can go ahead and assist you. But that link on the screen, that also directs you to the information page of or that link that'll be included in the PowerPoint will direct you to the information page for the micro enterprise grant as well. If you need further assistance, feel free to call us. And I think that wraps up, yeah, looks like that wraps up one more question. Question from Grace. I don't have merchant statements, but are emails from clients requesting cancellation of services proof to submit?
That is one of the ways that you could provide proof. However, we'll need something a little bit more, and you can definitely contact our office. You can send an email to riversidecares@uwiv.org so that we can work with you one-on-one to see what we can do.
Perfect. So I think we're good on questions. And I have another one here. Marina, are merchant statements better or bank statements?
Either or. We prefer bank statements, but we understand sometimes you have to use a merchant statement, so that'll work too, as long as we're able to see a steady impact of revenue decrease.
Perfect. So I'll go ahead and give it another minute or so to see if folks have any more questions before we close out.
In the meantime, I'd like to remind everybody that applying for this grant does not exclude you from applying for the micro grant or any of the others, nor based on those qualifications, but applying for the others definitely does not exclude you from applying for this one. So particularly the city's micro grant, for example, and this grant, you can apply for both if you qualify for both.
Thank you, Sherry.
All right, Karla, I think we're good if you guys would like to close out.
Perfect. Thank you, Mary. And once again, thank you to the City of Riverside and Jennifer and Sherry for bringing this to the small business community. I know they're going to appreciate it, and we appreciate you guys for all the hard work that has gone in to get this launched in a really quick turnaround time. So we're excited to help. For our audience, like I said before, if any of you are needing assistance for applying for this one or for any of the other ones, please feel free to call us. I can't say it enough. We are a no-cost resource, so we can help you get this taken care of and submitted fairly quickly. So please reach out to us. The number is on the screen. The lovely Veronica will pick up that phone line and put you on the consultant that has the closest availability that's convenient for you. So please use us. This is an awesome opportunity. And as Sherry mentioned, you are able to apply for other grants still as well on top of this one. So please reach out to us and let's get you guys some funding or grants ASAP.
Thank you all, and I'm getting a lot of thank yous in the queue, so thank you all. I will go ahead and close out. I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.